I love the Irish restaurants over here. Great Irish restaurants. They're very authentic, the Irish food. My favourite thing to order is the quesadillas. We make a great quesadilla in Ireland, guys. My mum, quesadilla of the year 2007 to 2012. Proud family tradition. I was in an Irish restaurant recently, and I couldn't decide whether to order the quesadilla or the Irish nachos. Service industry? Or just an enthusiastic wooer? Either way. I used to work in a German bar in downtown Orlando, which sounds like I was in a witness protection program. And I remember one time I used to have to be sarcastic just to get myself through the day and stuff. You know, I get it. Like, well, people can't tell if I'm being like really brutal with them or just like a lovable Irish scamp. And I'm always being brutal. Is the answer to that. Well, I remember one time I had a customer come into the bar. He's looking at a menu and he goes to me, what's the least amount of wings I can get? And I said, none. We done here? Because I've got a full bar. Remember another time when I was working there, I had a customer come into the bar and he asked me what's the password for the Wi-Fi, right? Pretty straightforward question. I said it's Oktoberfest, was spelled with a C, and he said, Cocktoberfest? It doesn't sound like a Wi-Fi password as much as it sounds like the greatest gay pride parade of all time. I was honestly so impressed. I was like, boss, can we just change it to Cocktoberfest? He was like, no, Sean, we sell sausages here. I was like, fair point. When I was at a bar, there was a girl sitting 2 seats down from me at the bar. I order a beer, she overhears my accent and she goes, oh my God, your accent, where are you from? She was sober. I said I was from Ireland, to which she replied, "Arr, shiver me timbers!" That's Irish, right? And did you ever hear someone say something so stupid that you have to process it a couple of times to make sure you're not the idiot? I was like, are we pirates? Can you talk like that? Are we Irish? Is that what Do you guys learn languages in school here? You do, right? You learn a second language in school?
No, not till high school.
Not till high school, yeah. Okay, well, cool, alright. I know that also now, alright. That was very specific, I appreciate it. I learned German in school, you know, just in case, and in case they made a comeback. Well, my sister learned French, right? And one year we went on vacation to France, and she was translating for us for the whole vacation, you know. And then right towards the end of the vacation, we were at this giant supermarket, or supermarché, as they call it in France, the posh pricks. And I really had to use the bathroom again. I was like, Aoife, how do you say in French, where is the bathroom? And she said, that's easy, Sean. You just say, je suis un beau papillon. Which, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, doesn't mean where is the bathroom. It actually means, I'm a pretty little butterfly. So I was just walking up to members of the staff like, I'm a pretty little butterfly! I'm a pretty little butterfly! But like I was phrasing it like it was a question. So like, am I a pretty little butterfly? Tell me I'm a pretty little butterfly! They're looking at me like, who gave this 9-year-old sarcastic. But the last guy must have been supremely confused because I was just like, I'm a brilliant butterfly, am I a brilliant butterfly? And then I just pissed myself, right? And the funny part about it was he was just trying to be encouraging, so as I was pissing myself, he was just going, wee, wee, which is kind of the ironic thing of it. I think the older generation, I think they're right, we're a shit generation, but I'm not going to disagree. But there's some things that you hold against us that I think are wrong, right? A couple of examples. I remember when I was at home, before my grandfather passed away, we were watching the news, and there was something about a guy who died of a peanut allergy, right? And my grandfather is watching this, and he looks at the TV and he says, peanut allergy? We didn't have fucking peanut allergies back in my day. I'm looking at him like, yeah, Grandpa, but you know what you had a lot of back in your day? Unexplained deaths. Just as we figured out what's killing us and are trying to avoid it, that doesn't make sense, you know? You can't just go, what? You figured out what's killing you and you're trying to avoid it? Pussy. Another thing that was very popular back in his day, you'd read the newspaper and the death notices always said, died peacefully, you know? I think that's called sleep apnea. Also, one of the main causes of death back in my grandfather's day was diarrhea. They were being wiped out by shite and water. Diarrhea, which, fun fact guys, one of the main symptoms of peanut allergies. You know, none of us are perfect. Our generation's shitty. I've been arrested a bunch, you know. Well, twice. But it was in 2 continents, so it makes me a badass. You know? I've been arrested in 2 continents for loitering. Turns out old Shorty boy has a bad habit of standing around. Time I got arrested over here, I was walking home drunk from a bar because I like to stay true to stereotypes, and hello, an applause for alcoholism, only in Kansas City. So I'm walking home, this cop car starts to slow down. I guess he thought I looked suspicious because I was stealing a road sign at the time, and so I see them, I go, cops, that's my cue to start running, which apparently you're not meant to do over here because they have guns or something, I don't know. But that's what we do in Ireland, we run, because the cops don't carry guns. So the worst thing they can shoot you with is a disapproving look. Even if the cops in Ireland catch you, they're just like, ah. Don't be doing that now. You're better than that, I know your father. The charges they arrested me for. By the way, I should mention this. They throw me in the back of the squad car. They drive about 35-40 seconds to the nearest 7-Eleven, where those 2 cops and 4 of their cop friends stood directly behind the squad car, impersonating my accent for 45 fucking minutes. They were like, fiddly dee, you're in trouble now, man. I was like, what? Jamaican? The charges they arrested me for were resisting arrest without violence, you know, the old and loitering, which I want you to think about for a second.
How could you do that?
Because that means my charges were for standing still and running. And the cop was like, don't be standing there, wait, that's too quick, slow down, slow down, slow down! This is Florida, boy! We meander here! Mom's a very kind, very generous generous woman. I remember too generous really for my liking. She's given all the money away. I remember I went home for Christmas this year, and my mum was trying to convince me to go to church, right? And when I moved out of home, I stopped going to church for the most part. Not really for religious reasons. I just basically held an AGM where I was like, free time on Sundays, all in favour? Alright, well that's it. That's what we're doing now. But I went home recently and my mum was like, Sean, it's Christmas Eve, the whole family's going, you'll go to church, right? And I never had any intention of not going, but I was going to make her work for it, you know what I mean? So I was like, Mom, look, I don't go to church in America. You know I don't go there. Do you really want me to go just to make you happy? And she said, that would be lovely, Sean. You can do that. Well, I take a look to my right, and my brother is holding a deck of cards, right? So I said, I'll tell you what, Mom, how about this? We draw one card each. I draw the highest card, I don't go. You draw the highest card, I'll go. You know, gambling en masse. But my mum, being a good Catholic woman that she is, was like, you're on, Sean! So we're about to draw, and right as they're about to draw, my brother goes, what happens if you both draw the same card? And without missing a beat, my mum says, he goes to church twice. What are you, a shark, woman? I didn't realise I was up against the house at the Bellagio here. How about where they're at? If I draw a queen, I just join the priesthood. Well, me and my sister overruled. We were like, nah, you just draw again. 1, 2, 3, flip our cards. We both get 5s. The energy in the room was insane. At that moment, we created the whitest, oh shit, you've ever heard in your life. Right as it starts to die down, my brother looks at my mum and goes, hey ma'am, you have to admit, this is a lot more fun than church. But now we have to draw again, right? 1, 2, 3, we flip our cards. I've got a jack, she's got a 4. I win! But I've always been very humble in victory, guys. So what I chose to do in that moment was dance around my living room singing, where's your Jesus now? Where's your Jesus now? Where's your Jesus now? My brother jumps in, we got a 2-man conga line going, where's your Jesus now? Where's your Jesus now? It was never about not going to church, and I had an idea, so I walked up to her mum and I said, hey mum, I'll tell you what, I go to church for €100. She says, deal. We look down to the end of the kitchen table where my dad is sitting, who we've already established not the most generous man with money, and he's giving us this look like, bad enough we've to pay the priest, now we've to pay this jackass too. This time me and my brother dancing around the kitchen singing, Jesus has a price, Jesus has a price, Jesus has a price. My mum walks out of the kitchen, comes back in a minute later, hands me a €100 bill and she says, Sean, it's Christmas Eve. I was going to give you this money for Christmas anyway. So it looks like you're going to church for free, going to church for free.